Okay, thank you very much, Solomon. Good morning, everyone. And also just to mention that I've just started recording the webinar so that we can actually share the recording to the ones who've not been able to join. So the recording and the slides also will be shared through email after the webinar. And just also to because we'll be going into kind of like an hours of a presentation. So if you could just mute yourselves, and if you have any question, you can just type them in the chat box, or you can just raise your hand. Yeah, you could just also just state your name and whoever you are addressing the question to. So I'm going to share my. Just like Anne has mentioned, we have this targeting tool. Just to mention again, it's available for free online. I'll be able to you'll be able to interact with the tools as through just a web interface. You don't need any software, though you might need. If you need some data to upload, you might need to have some data in your computer. So I'll be sharing my screen. So Solomon, you could just confirm to me if you see my screen.
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, great. So again, and this is the targeting tool. We started off first by developing a desktop software, which was based on the S3. If some of you have interacted with the ArcGIS software, we first started off with that one, but we saw that, and that was limited to very few people who had the software with them. So that's why we chose to take the software online. So it's available here, targetingtools.ciat.cgr.org. You don't need to register anywhere. But if you want to receive news about it, if you also want to receive more communication about it, if you want to also ask us a question, you'll be able to register in a blog page that we have. And it's just kind of like a landing page for the tools that I'll be talking about. There are basically three tools. One is it's called a land suitability. There's another one called land similarity, and land statistics. And just to show you how you to navigate through this website, you have an home button here. You also have an about page. If you can just click to read, you'll get some information about it. And I also mentioned the blog. Then we have some very good documentation here for the three tools, basically a step-by-step guide on how to use either of these tools, suitability, similarity, and statistics. And there's a contact page that we have here. So if you want access to the tools, you will go back to home button, and you can just scroll down. You will get to see this very nice page here where we have the land suitability, the land similarity, the land statistic. This one takes you to the documentation. If you continue scrolling down, you'll see various ways of accessing the tool. And we mentioned here clearly there's a web application. This is what I'm going to talk about today. But then again, if you also want to use the tool, to load the tool in ArcGIS on your desktop software, you can just click over here and you'll download kind of like a a toolbox which you need to load into toolbox. I encourage this one to the people who had experience using like ArcGIS. If you don't have experience, you very much be able to use the tool via the web application. To another web page. Named GIS web application. This is basically the web interface for the targeting tools application, whereby you'll see a map here, a map you can zoom around, and the tools are actually listed down here: the land suitability, the land similarity, the land statistics. You have some other very useful buttons we have here. You're going to list your layers. But today I just want to just go through a very short demo of how to use the tool. So to start with, click on land suitability. When you click on that, it pops up another dialog box, and with various options. And just also to mention is that we've been able to package this tool with a very nice spatial database. It's basically a global spatial database. You'll get to see most of the layers you need to get started. When you click on global, we also keep on adding a lot more layers. But if you just click on global, then you move to required. This is a step-by-step guide. Because now I would just want to make a very good example, even I could just also explain, is that, for example, the work we are doing there in Zambia, there are some various forage technologies we would want to test. One of them maybe is Brachiaria brisantha, and would want to know where that type of forage is very best suited. Yeah, and this is a kind of tool that will give you very quick insights into where you'd and that type of technology would be very well suited. And for you as an expert, I also need to ask some. You need to know like this brachiaria based on maybe lab or on station trials. This like planted in areas maybe 20 to 25, in areas whereby it receives a precipitation of particular amounts, in areas whereby the length of growing period is so the and this before you run this tool, and basically the application will be able to pinpoint to you those types of areas whereby that technology is very well suited based on maybe kind of like some trials you did in another place. So I'll just move on quickly. We had already selected a global to access our layers. And for this exercise, we would want to based on 6 variables. One is another one is precipitation. So another one is precipitation. If you just scroll down, you'll find precipitation. So these are layers we've already loaded into the tool. Another one is the length of growing period, a very good variable. measured in days. Another variable is elevation. Then we also need to load the pH. And finally, another very important variable is soil organic carbon, measure of fertility. So, these layers we've been able to package again with a tool. You don't need to have them in your computer. You just need to load them up. And ideally, the tool calculates automatically the minimum value and the maximum value for that variable. And again, as I mentioned, you as an expert, you need to know for table suitability you are calculating. You need to know the operation, like I mentioned, we would want to calculate stability for area. Precipitation, it needs to be between 1,000 to 1,000. So you just need to type in here into the optimal from and the optimal to tab the numbers, right? Temperature also needs to be between 25 and 34. Length of growing period, we were told this needs to be between 168. Doesn't matter a very long growing period. The elevation grows from 0 to 2,000. pH from 4 to 8. Organic carbon from 10 to 1 to 627. Type in the maximum. Let's explain what I've done. The application was able to read the minimum and the maximum values, but you as an expert, you are supposed to type in the ranges that you've been able to literature. Then we have here another tab here. It's called Combine. This is very useful, Combine. So if, for example, I'm looking at for all this, if I tick here, you can just tick some of these checkboxes. But this tool, ideally, it helps you assign a new number to each unique combination of input rasters. Our input layers here are like rotation, temperature, LGP. If I'm able to overlay some like these three, yeah, and based on the overlay, there are some very unique combination of the layers. Then it assigns just one, right? But this again is, and again, this one action, this helps you move the layers down, up into the tool. Down here, there's another, you again not want to, so for now, I would just need to choose an area of interest, and the application helps you choose your area of interest based on 3 ways. So you can actually draw on the map here, or you can actually upload, if you have experience with spatial data, you can actually upload a zipped kind of like a bounding box. So that's what I'm going to use today. And this, I think it will upload directly to Zambia. And that's it. We've been able to package your data very well. If you need to, again, have the output in your email, you can provide it here. So I just need to provide it, but it's not a must again. And if you need to subscribe, emails and your names, and you'll be able to receive further updates about application. So that's it. You just click on run, and it will start executing. Question?
John, before we do anything else, your internet is not very stable. So there is a suggestion that you switch off your camera and we see if it's any better.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we could hear you, but it was kind of interrupted. But I hope everybody could still somehow follow. Let's see if there are questions.
Yeah, so right now the process is running in the background, and very soon we are going to see the outputs projected into our viewer here, and I would expect again also the outputs to be sent into my email. Any question? If there are not any question, just to mention again, we are recording this webinar, and I'll be able to share the recording after this meeting. And the layers that I was able to show here, we are constantly uploading them based on the freely available layers that the scientific committee is constantly producing. So we are trying as much as possible to have the most up-to-date data input. Any question? Yeah, so our process is complete. Like I had mentioned, you don't need to actually type in your email here, but it's very useful if you want to receive the results in your email. Otherwise, the results are also provided. This is just a download link. You just click on it. It downloads the results. But then again, it's something that you need the type of output. We have a kind of like a spatial layer, so you need like a GIS software to visualize that. But you as just okay with just looking at the results here and attach in your reports. So this is a suitability index. We are calculating it for Brachiaria brysantha, and areas whereby you see in green, deep green, these are very highly suitable areas for that crop, and areas whereby you see in this type of orange, those are areas whereby which are very lowly suited. And we could again do this for other forage variety, and you get a very diverse maps. This one you can zoom in and go around. I can go to the southern sides of the country, whereby I think this project is working, and you can actually see how the suitability looks like for brachiaria. So if you don't have any other question, maybe I can go.
Okay, I think I missed him.
Is there a question?
Yeah, hello.
Hello.
Yes, I just wanted to, sorry, I joined a little bit late. I just wanted to find out on this tool, you're saying it is able to determine the suitability of growing certain forages depending on the environment, isn't it? Did I get you correctly?
Oh, I think John's internet connection is very unstable, so I can see he's trying to answer, but we don't hear him. So maybe I can jump in. So yes,
Yeah.
the tool is helping you to find out in which places certain crops. So in this case, we're talking forages, but it could be applied to any crop. Where is the suitable area for that crop or that intervention in general?
Okay.
But it does work with user input. So it does work. You, as a user of the tool, still have to tell the tool what you're looking for. So you have to tell the tool the crop or the intervention I'm looking up is suitable between this and this temperature, with this and this soil type, between this and this elevation. So it still really requires your expert input. It just actually searches now the database of maps and then shows you where are the locations that follow the rules that you as a user or as the expert give to the system.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anne, can you confirm that you can hear me now?
Yes, we hear you now.
Okay. Yes, thank you very much for answering that one. Now I'll move on to, because in the interest of time, land similarity. And land similarity is another tool which, again, it helps you look for, and based on a successful technological intervention at a point X, maybe you did your on-station trials in a particular area, so you'd want to look for other similar areas. And now you don't need to have all these expert values that we were typing into the land suitability tool. You just need to know where your technology worked fine, and based on that, you overlay that again with range of many other variables that you as an expert would want to take into consideration. And this tool again helps you find those similar areas. So I'll just again go straight to it. Our data, remember, is in this folder, global. And we would want to look for calculate our similarity based on, again, the same layers. One was global annual precipitation, that is rainfall. Then the other one was temperature, very important variables. The length of growing period, this is in days. Elevation. pH, so, and finally soil carbon. So again, we loaded the same layers we used previously, but then again, you have a choice of using all these other layers. There are many other layers, like the aridity index. You have NDVI, this is the normalized vegetation index, measure of greenness. We also have even other interesting layers, like phosphorus fertilizer application. You have all these layers, and we are constantly uploading many. So now you are able, you as a user, you are able to test your technology. And your technology, again, we go back to our forage variety back area, and we knew that it performed very well in Lusaka, maybe somewhere in Lusaka. So you can actually this is your target point. You can actually just drop a point in your map to just tell the application where your technology worked very well, and you do it this way, or you can upload your point. And for this demo, I'm using that technique, whereby I would want to tell the application where my technology worked very well. So this is my demo points. These are places I'm very sure of, whereby my technology worked fine. So this is somewhere in Zambia. Then finally, you can restrict the analysis to a particular area of interest by drawing on the map, and there are all these various shapes you can draw, or by uploading that bounding box. And that's what I would want to use, because I would want just to upload the boundary for Zambia. Yeah. So we have our boundary here, and we have our points here in Zambia where the technology worked fine. So ideally now we would want to look for areas which are similar to these 2 points. And even if they are not so similar, we would want to look at kind of like the percentage of similarity. Are they very similar or less similar? So that this one is a very quick one. Again, I would want my results to be sent into my email. And also, just to mention again, these tools can be used separately. So you kind of like, you don't need to use the suitability, then you go to Similarity. You can just come log into the application and you go straight to learn the Similarity. And then I run the analysis. Any question at this point?
So maybe just to add on to what John said. So this similarity now, you've seen it's going to look, we have the 2 points on the map there, and it's now looking for areas within Zambia that are similar in terms of temperature, rainfall, pH, all the factors that John put up there. So that is what the similarity tool does. It looks for similar places, but you as a user now don't have to put in like minimum, maximum values, but you still have to say it has to look similar in terms of, and then you put those factors.
Yeah, that's correct, Anne. Yeah, and it takes in as much variables like you'd want to take into consideration. So here I'm just using 6 of them. It can take in as many as possible.
So of course, the more variables you use, the longer the processing time takes. But another important issue about this is that the more points you give, so if you have more trials or more positive points where you know the intervention I want to scale out is really working there, the more accurate your result will be. So maybe since you don't have questions for us, maybe I can pose a question to the group. Do you see any kind of applicability of these tools, the suitability tool and the similarity tool, in your area of work?
Hello.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, I think this too is very much applicable in the area where we're working from, because it now entails that we don't need to run trials where you want to test a crop if it can do well in this particular region or of your country where you are. So with this tool, it will to be able to tell you that actually this particular crop which you want to grow, it cannot do well here. So there's no need of doing the actual trials to test the suitability of the crop which you want to do. So it kind of makes the work easier for us.
Great. Yeah, I think that is to a certain extent indeed what the tool is meant to do, to help you kind of deciding where a crop, a particular crop or a particular intervention is likely to work, which I don't think takes away the actual need to do some adaptation trials. As you see, you put in a number of variables, but there are always things you don't have data for. Maybe there is a certain pest there, or it has like some microclimate somewhere. So it also really, I don't think it takes away the need to also do some trials, but it will help you planning the trials and already excluding some certain areas for sure. Yeah. Or to try it out in kind of contrasting situations.
Yeah. Hello. Hello.
Yes.
I also have a question. I wanted to find out the percentage of accuracy, the efficiency of the tool. Are we talking of 90%, 80% in terms of accuracy?
The tool in itself is as accurate as the data that you are using.
Okay.
So what John is using now are global layers. So those are, they give you certain patterns, but once you zoom in too much, you would lose quite a little bit of accuracy. So it will depend. If you work in a certain region, I would advise that you actually look for the best data sets available and upload them to the system.
Okay.
And then the other one that really influences the accuracy or the correctness of your analysis is, of course, your thresholds.
Yeah.
If we, as the experts say, it's between 0 and 2000 meter, but actually it should be 1800 meter, then the result will not be right. But then it's because the user gave it the wrong information. So those are the two. The tool in itself is just a tool. It depends what you feed it with.
Yeah. Okay. I get you. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Anne, for managing that discussion. If you have any other question, just feel free to raise up your hand and you can just interject me. So before we went into that, we were running the land similarity, and we have our results here. These are our 2 points. So areas you see in very dark green area, those are areas which are more similar to our reference points, which are these two. And areas when the color fades off, those are areas which are more very less similar to our reference points. And just like Anne had mentioned, the more points you have, the more accurate your map will be. So again, in the interest of time, I'll move on to our last tool. So we've already tackled land suitability and land similarity. So after you do those two analyses, maybe you would want to ask yourself some questions, like how many people, or even how many cattle are being kept in very high suitable areas for particular pasture or particular forage variety. And that is what the land statistics tool is it's all about. It helps you calculate statistics based on statistics with the data you've just produced with those two tools. And you as a user, you're the one who would want to know like what type of statistics you'd want to calculate. But for example, you'd want to know, because right now we have various layers which are actually available, and again, they are getting better and better. Like you'd want to know how many people are living in very low suitable areas for a particular forage variety, or even how many goats or sheep are being kept in particular suitability classes. So, and that is what the land statistics is will help you to do. Again, inside this application, we package it with some layers that you can use to calculate statistics for, some layers which are very relevant to much of your work. Again, they are available in this folder here. And now the zone layer here, it's ideally we would want to use the outputs we've gotten from the suitability and the similarity tools, and work out suitability classes, because a few minutes ago I was showing my maps. It had a legend on right there, whereby I had like very low, very high suitability classes. So we'd want to recreate those types of classes there and have those ones as our zones. So that way you need to just load in your output. So this was a brachiaria, the suitability, the output I had calculated. So you'd want to have it in to keep it in a way that the application is going to understand it. Is someone asking a question? No. No. Okay. So you'd want to zip your output, the one you got from the suitability or the similarity, using a zipping software, and that's the only way you would be able to upload it here. Or if you don't close your session, your previous session, then the layers would be available in this folder here, the user folder, you know. But I had closed my session, that's why the layers are not available there. So right now I'm uploading it. Once that it is done, the reference layers here is what you'd want to calculate statistics for. For example, population, human population, cattle, or goats, or sheep. Yeah. So and that's what you'd calculate statistics with. So this is the suitability layer that we initially calculated. Okay. And would want to calculate statistics for like you'd want to know let's say population count. This is human population. How many people are living in particular areas? Would also want to calculate what is like even density. Look at average density per sheep density per suitability area. So this is the reference layer. This is statistics. Yeah, there's a range of statistics you can calculate. Mean. Let's say we want to calculate mean. Yeah, this is a field identifier for these reference layers because you'll be getting a table with the various statistics, just one table with the various statistics. So you need to identify each of those fields. And you have some optional here. So the application was able to calculate the various classes of our suitability layer into 5. So values which are ranging from 0 to 2 were very low suitable, and those ones were given 1, and various which are from 0 to 0.8 to 1 were very highly suitable, and they were given 5. The rest of these are target boundaries. They're just optional. It's a target boundary. You would want to restrict your analysis into a very small area, but we already uploaded our suitability layer, which is the whole of Zambia. But if you wanted to restrict it to a particular province in Zambia, you can also do that. And finally, this gives you another opportunity to deliver the results into your email address, and you can just run that one. So this one is basically calculating, remember what shows here, the mean, the average density per suitability class. And also the mean here for count of people. And again, you can add as many layers as you want here, because the layers are actually being provided here. And one more thing which I did not mention is that you can actually have your layers very high resolution layers, the ones you are very confident about, very local. You can actually upload them here and just run through the analysis using your own data. So this is the output. So you can just click on that one, and let's look at the output. So these are classes. These are the very low suitable areas, the very high suitable areas. and this is the population count per square kilometer, number of people was 19, and this is the sheep density. Yeah, and like again, I mentioned you can use your own data to run all these type of analysis and tools. The one you are confident about, because right now we are providing global layers. So you might be having very, very good data which has been validated. So you can actually use that and use the infrastructure that we've been able to provide here to run through that analysis. Any question?
I was just going to ask, is it easy to find where the layers come from, the data sources?
Okay, that's a good question. So as it is right now, we are working on providing that information on the front end, or maybe just a kind of like as a tooltip for each of those layers. But as it is right now, you need to go a little bit much deeper into some of the services. They are called web map services, whereby we have listed where those layers are coming from. But we would want to make that information very easily findable to the user on the front end.
Okay.
Cynthia, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So I just wanted to find out, in your opinion, how user-friendly is this tool for someone who has not had much experience using it, and especially that it needs a lot of data to be inputted in the tool. And when is the best time that we can actually make use of it from your experience?
Thank you very much, Cynthia. In terms of how user-friendly the tool is, right now we actually looking at the types of people who are actually using it. We are harvesting that type of data. I was not able to bring on board some of the users. I was really hoping to have them present their use cases. But the ones who returned back some of the feedback. And they say that maybe after the first use, the second use, they're now getting kind of finding it a little bit much more user-friendly. And also when they visit the documentation page, it's very straightforward. And even because that we are providing the data inside the tool, we've even made it a little bit much more easier. So you don't need to do a lot of pre-processing, which is in most of the cases, that's what GIS analysts or motion analysts do. Here we are providing the data within just one package, and having this documentation, which the feedback we are getting is users have been saying that they're actually finding their way through the user interface through that documentation. What was the second question?
From your experience, when is the best time to make use of the tool, other than that, what was already mentioned?
Yeah, that's a good question. And when is the best time? I would give my example. When is the best time? I think it's before you go out in before just the project starts. You need to just, if you want to get some very good insights in what you are working on, or even get to know how the environment looks like. I think that would be the best time to use it. Maybe I could ask Anne to jump in on this while I prepare. I would want just to show some of the use cases that we have for Zambia right now.
Yes, so it depends actually. I think the best time to use it is when you have a question that you want to see answered. So it can be in the preparation phase of a project where you want to go to a certain, you want to work in a certain region, and you have to decide which crop varieties should we test, and you could use it to kind of see test suitabilities for different crop varieties. But yeah, I think the bottom line is when you have a question that is related to suitability or similarity, or if you somewhere more closer towards the end of a project where you have already defined some certain areas and you want now to describe your region, or during a project proposal, because the land statistics tool can be used very flexibly, I would say. So it can be used in combination with a similarity or a suitability map, but you could also use it to calculate how many people average maize yields in whichever regions you're interested in. So I think it can be used in many varied situations, depending on the questions you have.
Yeah, thank you very much, Anne. I just wanted to show, and one of the interns who developed this kind of like a very nice story map for the suitability of forages in Zambia. We're able to run this for 22 forage varieties right now. And actually, the maps, you might have received them. The maps are available in this link. I'll also be able to share this. And these are maps you can just grab and add into your some more analysis. But I just want to mention that these are both current and future forest suitability maps. So, like, how will Avena sativa, like, what's the current suitability right now for this variety? But also, we've been able to use couple this with future layers for climate, temperature, precipitation, and other variables to look at the future suitability. And the maps are actually very interesting, like you'd see here in this story map. Gives a very nice background here. Also gives some background on the application. So this is hot Havena sativa, and we have some functionality here to like kind of like swipe. So this is the current suitability for Havena sativa. And when I swipe through like this, you can actually see how the map, how we are losing suitability by 2050. So just to turn back to your question again, I think this tool is very important if you want to look into the future for like breeding programs. You want to start your working a little bit much more early, like how the future will look like. You can actually, and using some other more technologies, kind of like have this type of insight right now and for the future. And this, we've been able to make this. This is the Bricaria brisantha. This is the current suitability, looking very nice. But when you look into the future, you can actually see how we are losing suitability. Yeah, and we've been able to make this for various other varieties. Maybe not much of the difference, but you can actually see the story is the same. For all these forage varieties, we are losing suitability into the future. And we actually used targeting tools to produce these types of maps. Thank you. Any other question?
Yeah, hello. Hello. I just wanted to find how old is this tool? Is it 10 years, 5 years?
Anne, would you want to take that one?
The web-based tool is, I think, less than a year old.
Okay.
But the functionality of making suitability maps has been in GIS systems for 20 years. So the concept has been around for 30 years maybe. But the actual tool here in its current format is less than a year old. And we did the desktop tool, I think, about 3 years ago.
Yeah, can these two cannot, would you say these two can also be used to validate the performance of, say, forages or crops in particular areas?
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
Okay.
It's more something that you would use for planning, or for if you have. Yeah, no, I don't, because you use existing data. So you don't really. I don't see immediately how you would use it for validation. No.
Okay.
Maybe John has a better idea. Any other question?
Cynthia, you wanted to say something?
Yes, I was looking at the map you were showing of the suitability with the changing climate, and I noticed all the examples you were giving had like low suitability. Do you have an example of a variety that will have higher suitability with changing climate in the future?
So yeah, so in this case, I'm just we only project. I think these are 5, but there are some varieties which were actually performing very well. I cannot remember which ones. I was just visualizing them on my desktop, but there are actually some varieties which were doing very well. But of course, we've not been able to get the opportunity to project them, all of them in this application. And I cannot say which one right now, but I can come back to you in regarding kind of varieties which have highly suitable currently areas, maybe in the range of Zambia. I can come back to you about that one.
Do we have any more questions, comments? John, are you done or? Hello.
Yes, Solomon, I am done with the demo, but I'm ready to accept any other question that the team here might have. But I'm done with my demo.
Thank you very much. In case you have more suggestions, demo, comments, kindly you can put them on a chat or contact us, and I'm sure we can be able to iterate. It is an evolving tool, and I'm sure within 1 year, Anne has mentioned, a lot has happened, and into future we still want to build more onto it. So at this juncture, I would want to thank John Mutua very much for presenting that and actually helping us to understand what's happening around this with this tool that can be really useful in terms of helping you to plan or rather get best bet areas with the technologies in question. It's very useful, and I think it will even be helping us as we go into the ground in Zambia in terms of selecting what we would want to put as our best bet forages. So thank you very much, the team, Anne, and everyone for taking your time and listening, even for the queries. Still feel free to contact us later. So at this juncture, I would say, want to end and say thank you very much and catch you next time, and bye for now.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Welcome.
Bye.
Thank you, John. Bye.
Welcome.